Welcome. This is our CounterSketch trial webinar. We are going to this morning be focusing on just the basics of using CounterSketch. If you're on this webinar, you probably have received a CounterSketch trial version that you're using in your store to determine if it's the right fit for your business. And so what we hope to accomplish this morning is just to walk through some of the basics of using CounterSketch so that you can get the most out of your CounterSketch trial. So I'm going to go ahead and kick us off. We're going to walk through a really simple example this morning, and I'm going to be pretty thorough. So we're going to use almost every aspect of the program in this example. That being said, you'll probably find that you don't necessarily need to use every single aspect of the program in every CounterSketch sale that you do, but again, we want to show you all the features of the software while you're doing your trial. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started. You'll notice, like I said, when we arrive in CounterSketch, we're on what we call the start screen, which is what you can see now. And there are different categories of product that you can choose from. So as you look through these different categories, you may notice that I have more categories on my screen than you may have on your CounterSketch trial screen. And the reason for that is because in the CounterSketch trial, we've only provided you with a limited library of designs, whereas here I have our full version of CounterSketch Studio, which includes all of the various designs that are in the library. So again, it might be slightly different from yours. When you approach CounterSketch, we're going to ask that you do it the same way that you would if you were selling something out of your showcase. So you want to be sure that you've qualified your customer and you have a clear understanding of what it is that they're looking for before you even approach the software. Most likely, you've probably already looked in your showcase to make sure that you don't have something already in stock that meets your customer's request. And if you don't, then you can come over and begin working in CounterSketch. And now we're going to select the category of product that most similarly describes what our customer is looking for. Now, I like to sometimes cast the net pretty wide so that I've got lots of options to choose from. And if that's the case, then I can click on All Ring Designs. Once I click on All Ring Designs, you'll see that it pops up and we've got lots of different styles to choose from. On the far left, you'll see that I have materials options. So if I know that my customer is looking for something with a sapphire in the center, I can select that sapphire center stone and all of my images update to show a sapphire. If I know that the primary metal color that they're considering using is yellow gold, I can select that material over here on the left as well. And then as I scroll through, you'll see that my primary metal is chosen as yellow gold, and where I have secondary metal options, it's showing in platinum. So that's a quick and easy way to kind of get everything started. You'll notice, again, we just kind of configure the materials to match what our customer is looking for and what they would like to see. You'll notice that I also have the ability to change the view of all the designs in my collection. So if I know that I definitely want some scroll work on the side of my ring, I can change this to a through finger view, and all of my rings orient to a through finger view, and now I can identify those styles that have that scroll pattern on the side of the shank. So I've got a couple here as I work my way through that meet that standard. I can also do this in a top-down view, a side view, or back to my original perspective view. So again, this is just to help orient all of the different pieces so that it is lined up the way that you're looking for. The next option you'll see here is our center stone shape. So if I know that my customer is planning to use an oval center, I can select that shape and say OK. Now it's going to update my search results to only show models that will accommodate an oval center. Some of the preview images do show as an oval center, but not all of them. So when I open these models, it will accommodate an oval, but it doesn't necessarily show the preview image on the screen as an oval. The next is our center setting style. So if I want to do prong set stone, then I can choose that option. The next is our style word. So if we know that our customer is looking for, let's say, something that is more classic or modern or vintage or glamorous, then we can choose one of these style words and we can update our search results to only show styles that will accommodate or that are that particular style. I'm not going to do that for this one. I'm going to move on to my design elements. So this gets a little bit more granular in detail. So if we're looking for specifically a cathedral or a cluster or a halo or something that has mill grain detail on the side, something sculptural, if we're looking for something that has a side channel or a three-stone style. So again, this gets a lot more specific with our design elements. So I'm going to choose something that's a three-stone. And again, each time I'm limiting my search results as I apply these filters to help me find exactly what it is that I'm looking for. So this is a great way to narrow down your search results to be able to identify the style that you're most interested in using. So now that we have this narrowed down, you can see what options are available that will accommodate an oval three-stone design that's prong set. Again, we can change the orientation of these designs if we're looking for something that has a cathedral style or something that has maybe woven prongs. If we orient this in our through finger view, it's easier to see some of those details. So we can kind of look through until we find the style that our customer is interested in using. If we left click on one of these styles, it's going to show us a larger preview image of that style, and we can also see larger renders in the various views. So we can kind of look through these until we find the one that we feel is the best match for our customer based on the criteria that we've put into the system. And I'm going to select this option here. Again, we can see the various viewport options. And now I'm going to select that I'm going to use that oval center, and I'm going to left click on this arrow here that says Open Design File. When I do this, I am effectively moving from my search screen into customize mode. So when I'm in search, when I get started in search, again, you saw that I was kind of narrowing down my collection to find exactly the style that my customer was looking for. Now that we're moving from search into customize mode, you'll see that we now have the ability to make more detailed changes to the design. So the first thing I want you to see in customize mode is that we have the ability to move the ring around on the screen. So in order to move the ring, I'm just holding down my right mouse button and I'm dragging my mouse. So I'm holding down my right mouse button the entire time, and as I drag my mouse, my ring responds to that movement. So I can kind of rotate it, I can look at it from different angles, and this is how I can help my customer to view the whole design more easily within the software. After that, I also have the ability to zoom in. So if there's a particular area of the ring that the customer would like to see more closely, you can place your mouse over that aspect of the design, and then you can scroll using that little wheel in the center of your mouse either forward to zoom in, so I'm scrolling towards my computer screen, or I can scroll backward to zoom out. So if I scroll towards myself and away from the computer screen, I can zoom out. Now, if something like this happens and you lose your ring completely, you can come up here to your perspective view, which is in the upper right corner. It's in kind of the center of that menu, and that will line everything back up in the center of your screen. So again, you can right click and hold and rotate your ring around on the screen, or you can zoom in and out by placing your cursor over the area of the ring that you want to see more closely and using your scroll wheel to zoom in and out. So that's how you navigate your customized screen. You'll notice that our materials options, which were previously over here on the left, have been moved over here on the right. And at any point, you can go in and make adjustments to your materials options. So if your customer changes their mind about what style of ring they're looking for, it's really easy to go in and make those changes. From here, you'll notice on the left side of our screen, we have several menu options to choose from. In the top part of the menu, you'll see we have design options. So the first design option is the finger size. So let's say instead of a size 7, our customer is a size 5. We're just going to select size 5 from our drop-down menu, and you'll notice that everything parametrically shifted to update to a size 5. The next option is our center gem rotation. So if we wanted our oval to go east-west instead of north-south, we could choose that option. The next is our bridge support. So we can click here and remove that detail if our customer would like it to be more open. We also have the ability to remove our accent gems. So if for budgetary reasons or design reasons we don't want those additional diamonds down the band, all we have to do is left click on gem accent and they can be removed or added. The next is our accent setting style. So right now they're a prong style setting, and if we click on this, we can change those to a channel style setting. So again, these design options in the top part of your menu are going to have some pretty sweeping changes to your design fairly quickly in the beginning. After those design options, we'll get down into more finite details of the ring. So you'll remember that we selected the oval center when we selected the design in search mode. However, you'll see that this design comes in several different center stone shape options. You can click on these to change the center stone shape at any time. You'll also see we have a slider here that will allow us to change that center stone size. If we know exactly the diamond that the customer is planning to purchase and we have those dimensions, you can also go in and type the exact dimensions of the customer's diamond. So maybe it's an 8.23 by a 6.25. And now our diamond is going to update to show exactly the size that the customer has selected. We can also change our center gem height. So if we wanted to make this center diamond lower, we're just going to left click on this slider and drag it to the left. And you'll notice again everything parametrically shifts. We can also change our shank profile width. So if we want to adjust the width of our shank, we can just left click here and drag it to the right. You'll notice that as we do that, the diamonds in our shank setting shift to update as well. So we're trying to maintain the design aesthetic for this particular ring. So as you increase the width of the band, the diamonds are going to increase as well. We can also change the profile shape. So if you look here, it says profile bottom shape. We can change it to something a little bit more decorative if our customer is looking to have some detail work on the bottom of the style. We've got quite a few profile shapes to choose from here, so they can really pick whichever they like. There isn't a side profile option because we have our diamonds on, and that would be difficult to see. So if we take the diamonds off, that might be an option to consider. You'll also see that we can choose the outside ring shape. So right now we have a traditional round shank. If we left click on this outside ring shape, we can change that to be more of a weighted or a European shank. And again, here's that option. If we had our gems off, we could change the top profile shape, but since we have those gems on, we're going to leave it alone. The next option is our side gem height. So we can adjust the height of those side gems if we want them to be closer to the overall height of our center ring. And again, you'll notice that our shank updates based on the placement of those side gems. We can also change our side gem shape. So right now, we have the rounds on either side. If we want this to be a true 3-stone oval ring, we can update those side stones to be ovals instead of rounds. We can also change the size of those side gems in the same way that we did the size of our center stone. So we can either use the slider or we can type in the exact dimensions of the gems that we're planning to use. The next option that you'll see is our prong location and our prong size. In this case, we have our accent prongs turned off. So I'm going to turn those back on just so we can see how that's going to look. So we'll come down here to our menu and we'll change our small prong location. And everything just shifts very, very slightly. Same thing with our setting prong size. These are actually changing the size on our center gem. So if you'll notice, our center gem prong size is adjusting. So this menu that we've just worked through is our top 10 style options. It's what we call our limited design stack, and it helps you as a user as well as the customer to focus on what we have seen based on users using this particular model are the most popular 10 slider changes. So it's really intended just to help kind of focus you in on what we expect most customers are likely to change about this particular model. However, if there are additional changes that you'd like to be able to make, you can go from your simplified design stack up here in the upper left corner to the advanced design stack. So you'll notice kind of with the icons, it looks like we've added a couple of more things. And if you see down here in your design stack, you'll notice that that's definitely true. So we've gone from just having our center gem and center height to having a little bit more full and built out menu. For our center setting, you'll notice we now have the ability to change the prong shape. Again, we had prong size, prong location. We also now can change the gallery rail location and the gallery rail height. So this is another one that's nice. We can also, in our side gem, again, we could change the shape and the height before, but now we can also make changes to that side setting. So if we want our side settings to be different, we can always go in and update those. We get down to our shank. Again, a lot of the same options that you saw before, but now we also give you the ability to change the wall thickness. So if you do want larger diamonds, but you'd also like to have a larger barrier between those diamonds, you can come in and make that outside channel wall a little bit thicker. Finally, we'll move into our accent gems. So we can again adjust the accent gem shape from either a round to a princess. And here we can also control the size of those gems. Finally, we can determine how far around our ring we want those diamonds to go. So if we, again, for budget or style reasons, want less diamonds on the shank, but we don't want them completely gone, we can shorten the end point of those styles or of those diamonds so that they align with what our customer is looking for. I'm going to change my center setting prong shape back to round just so I've got more consistency in my design. And now we can kind of see how that's going to look. So we've designed our engagement ring, and now we want to help our customer to visually see how everything is going to look together. So we can come up here to our upper right corner and left click on this icon that kind of looks like a hand. That's our design try-on hand. So now we can place the ring on a finger. We can choose the person's skin tone and their nail polish color and say OK. And now we can see how that ring would look on the customer's finger. At this point, we can make any adjustments to the style that we'd like. So if we want to go in and maybe change the size of our center stone or update the height of our center stone, we can always do that. The next option that you'll see is the ability to add the matching wedding band. So I'm just going to come up here in the upper corner and left click on band 2. And that'll bring out one of the matching wedding bands. And I can click on band 1 and that'll bring out both of them so they can see what this would look like with a symmetrical band set. I can always click on these band options to make adjustments. So you'll notice that it automatically updated the wedding bands to match our finger size, to match our outside profile so that we have that consistent European or weighted shank option for all 3 rings. And it also, you'll notice, is automatically matching the length of the diamonds on our engagement ring to the length of the diamonds on our wedding band. It didn't, however, change the size of the accent diamonds. That's again a stylistic choice, so we leave it to you and your customer to make that decision. But if you did want to make that adjustment, you could always come in here and adjust your diamond size to match your engagement ring. Now that the customer has seen the full collection together, if you'd like, you can remove the design try-on hand. Again, just left click on that hand icon and click remove. Now we can see our full wedding set out on the screen, and I'm just going to orient this so that I can see all of the details of my ring easily. Now that I've got it lined up the way I think it is best suited, I can come over here to this little camera icon and render this ring. So this is going to take more of a photorealistic picture of the ring rather than simply a I think I call it a claymation. It's a really nice render in the screen, but I think this is a little bit better. The diamonds have a little bit more sparkle to them, the gold's a little bit shinier, and it just looks a little more cohesive. So that shows us how we can get a render for our customer. To share this with your customer, you're just going to left click on Save Image up here at the top, and it's going to save it as a JPEG image to wherever you would like to save this particular file. Then you can attach this to an email, upload it to your Facebook page, share it on Instagram, however you'd like to share this image out from there, you can do that. So we've got our ring, we've seen what it looks like on a hand, we've seen a render of the ring, which is that more photorealistic image, and now I'd like to know what the price will be. So we can use our quick estimate button, which is down here in the lower right, and we're just going to left click on that one time. When we do a quick estimate, it is truly an estimate, so it's going to go out, it's going to look at today's metal market prices, and then it's going to look at the markups that you put into the system, and it's going to apply that markup to the metal prices. It's also going to look at the markups that you've assigned to your diamond melee, and it's going to apply those markups to the pricing as well. So any pricing that you ever see in CounterSketch is going to be a retail cost based on the markups that you've put into the system. When our quick estimate comes up, you'll also notice that it's going to provide pricing in lots of different metal qualities and lots of different diamond qualities. So it's going to give your customer essentially a chart of all the various pricing options that are available for this particular style that they can choose from. So you'll notice here we've got our platinum to rose gold, we've got VS to I1 quality, and then we also have a mounting only option. Whatever's on the screen is what is being priced. So you'll notice here that we have 2 wedding bands and the engagement ring. So all 3 of these bands are included in our quick estimate. You'll also notice that it says here that the large gems are not included in the estimate. So the three large center diamonds are not included in the estimate. The reason for that is anything over a third of a carat is going to vary too much in price in order for us to estimate it here. So we're going to assume that you've already selected those diamonds with your customer and that you know the price of those stones. And so you would just add the price of those diamonds to this, what we're considering as kind of a semi-mount price for the engagement ring and the two matching wedding bands. It tells you that it does include those 40 accent diamonds, which are in our two wedding bands and on the shank of our engagement ring. If you choose the mounting only option, this is really good for customers who are doing a remount style ring. So for customers who are looking to use their own diamonds or gemstones, we do provide a mounting only cost. However, please keep in mind that this does not include any setting cost. So when you see these prices over here to the left that show a diamond quality option, we've incorporated the cost of our labor to set those diamonds as well. But when you see your mounting only price, that does not include any labor charges for setting those stones. So it's truly the mounting only price that you're seeing there. So that covers most of the basic steps of using CounterSketch, getting the information from your customer, going through the search process, and then customizing the design to meet your customer's needs. We also have a couple of tools such as Design Try-On and Render that help the customer to better understand the complete design. Finally, if your customer is happy with the design, you can click on Order, and this is where you'll go through the process of selecting if you're going to be purchasing the stones from Stellar, if we're going to be using stones that you'll submit to us to set for you, or if you're going to be setting those stones yourself. So you can go through, make those options. We're going to confirm the size of the ring and that you're ordering 3 pieces, the engagement ring, the wedding band 1, and wedding band 2. And you can also choose the finish state. Again, when you order through CounterSketch, you have the ability to choose either a finished and set piece, so we'll set it as far as you'd like, all the way up to complete, or if you just like a finished casting or even a semi-finished casting and you'd like to do the setting yourself. So we only require that we provide the mounting, but we're happy to set everything up to a finished ring. The next thing you'll see here is if you'd like your quality mark stamped on the inside of the ring. So we're happy to put your logo on the inside of the ring along with the quality mark. You can add custom engraving if you would like. And also if we even do a more than a ring book. So if you'd like to help your customer better visualize the steps involved in creating their ring, we're happy to take a photo of the wireframe, take a picture of the raw casting or the wax, and then finally the finished ring. So again, this is just a great gift with purchase to give to your customer. Kind of shows the story of how the ring was created. The book with images is $65 and the digital images only, I think, are $20 your cost. So we again don't include that pricing here. That's something that you can decide with your customer and determine how you're going to have them pay for it. The last option is to get a resin sample. So we will provide a resin sample of the design for you to review with your customer before we go into casting. The only thing that I will caution you on is if you do choose this option, it will delay your time. So we'll create the resin, we'll send it out to you, and then we will not begin production of the ring until we've received confirmation from you that you'd like for us to go forward. There is no additional cost to receive the resin sample. The only thing that you'll pay is the shipping to get that resin out to you. So again, just another option that you can consider. The final piece of the order is the additional design notes. So if you have additional changes that you'd like to make to the ring that you were unable to make within CounterSketch, you can add additional design notes here and let our camp services team know what additional changes you would like to make. Finally, you can get pricing for this piece, and this is going to be a little bit more accurate than your quick estimate. So this is going to take into account all of the information that you provided when you were doing your order setup, and at that point, now you'll be able to get a little bit more accurate of a price based on exactly the information that you're looking to use. So again, this price is going to be in retail cost based on the retail markups that you put into the system. You'll notice here that I do have some manually sized stones, so you'll remember that we put in the exact dimensions of our centered gem, which means that our CAD/CAM services team is going to want to look over the model and validate it before we provide you with a final price. So what we'll ask you to do is enter your contact information here, and then we're going to have you request a quote. So what that does is it sends the model to our CAM services team. They're going to look it over, confirm that it's castable and manufacturable from our side, and then we are going to email you within 24 business hours a quote for the piece in your cost. So again, anything in the software is going to be in retail markups, and anything that you receive via email from us is going to be in wholesale cost. So again, the reasoning for that is just because we know that a customer might be standing next to you anytime you're using CounterSketch on your sales floor, but we're assuming that if we email it to you directly, there's not going to be a customer standing around, and so we can provide that information as cost pricing. Once you receive that quote within 24 business hours, you just need to go in and approve the quote, and then we'll get started in producing the ring for you. So that's how you can walk through a pretty straightforward design within CounterSketch and get your pricing and go through the process of placing your order. Thank you guys so much for participating in the webinar this morning and giving CounterSketch an opportunity in your stores. Like I said, in that email you've got the 1-800 number for our tech support team. If you want, I'll go ahead and give it to you now as well. So if you run into any issues in installing, or if you have questions about using the software along the way, you can definitely reach out to us. Also, don't hesitate to reach out to your salesperson. They know a lot about your business probably already, and how you're thinking of using CounterSketch, so they may have some suggestions as well. But if you need to reach us, that 1-800 number again is 1-888, and then it's 357-6272. So for GemVision technical support, it's 1-888-357-6272. But otherwise, good luck with the trial. Please let us know what you think at the end of the 14 days, and we look forward to hearing from you. So thank you so much again for your time this morning. Have a great day.